Learn English to Gujarati academic verbs, to found to consolidate with.
સ્થાપના કરવી.
And.
એકત્રિત કરવું.
Welcome to the word laboratory. Hey, you're here, and that already means your brain deserves a tiny academic crown. Today you'll learn big thinking English words through lively Gujarati phrases, and yes, we will make them less scary and more snack-sized. Welcome, brave language explorer. Today we meet 8 powerful verbs. First, to found is.
સ્થાપના કરવી.
To substantiate is.
પુષ્ટિ કરવી.
Derive is.
ઉત્પન્ન કરવું.
Contextualize is.
સંદર્ભિત કરવું.
Differentiate is.
ફરક પાડવો.
To nuance is.
સૂક્ષ્મ ભેદ દર્શાવવો.
Clarify is.
સ્પષ્ટ કરવું.
And consolidate is.
એકત્રિત કરવું.
If these sound fancy, good. Fancy words need a funny entrance. A very serious university of nuts. Let's start with a mini story, because your brain loves drama almost as much as squirrels do. Listen for the Gujarati words as they pop up. Professor Squirrel stood on a tree branch and announced, I will.
સ્થાપના કરવી.
A university for nuts. The other squirrels clapped with tiny paws. One squirrel asked, why should we trust you? Professor Squirrel pulled out acorn documents to.
પુષ્ટિ કરવી.
His glorious plan. Then he tried to.
ઉત્પન્ન કરવું.
A budget from 3 leaves, 1 button, and a drawing of a moon. It was not great, but it was ambitious. A wise owl said, please.
સંદર્ભિત કરવું.
This plan. Are we building a school, a cafe, or a nut-powered empire? The owl also helped everyone.
ફરક પાડવો.
Between education and snack storage. Then a poet squirrel added style and began to.
સૂક્ષ્મ ભેદ દર્શાવવો.
The mission. Not just nuts, but knowledge about nuts. Finally, the beaver secretary had to.
સ્પષ્ટ કરવું.
The rules in.
એકત્રિત કરવું.
All the notes, because nobody can study if the timetable is written on 6 different tree trunks. Quick meaning drill. Now you repeat with meaning. I say the English, then the Gujarati, and then a tiny memory image. To found.
સ્થાપના કરવી.
Imagine placing the first stone of a school. To substantiate.
પુષ્ટિ કરવી.
Imagine a lawyer slamming proof on a desk like a dramatic movie star. Derive.
ઉત્પન્ન કરવું.
Imagine pulling an answer out of clues like a magician with homework. Contextualize.
સંદર્ભિત કરવું.
Imagine zooming out so one sentence finally makes sense. Differentiate.
ફરક પાડવો.
Imagine choosing between 2 nearly identical socks before your dignity collapses. To nuance.
સૂક્ષ્મ ભેદ દર્શાવવો.
Imagine adding tiny shades of meaning like a painter with a very opinionated brush. Clarify.
સ્પષ્ટ કરવું.
Imagine wiping fog off a window. Consolidate.
એકત્રિત કરવું.
Imagine all your loose papers finally agreeing to live in one folder. Mini dialogues you can steal. Here are short dialogues you can borrow in real life, or at least in your inner intellectual movie trailer. A. They plan to found a new school. B. So they want to.
સ્થાપના કરવી.
A new school. A. Do you have evidence? B. Yes, I can.
પુષ્ટિ કરવી.
The claim with documents. A. Can we derive the answer from the formula? B. Yes, we can.
ઉત્પન્ન કરવું.
It from the formula. A. This quote sounds strange. B. First.
સંદર્ભિત કરવું.
It before judging. A. These ideas seem similar. B. We need to.
ફરક પાડવો.
Between them. A. Your answer is too simple. B. Right, I should.
સૂક્ષ્મ ભેદ દર્શાવવો.
It. A. I am confused. B. Let me.
સ્પષ્ટ કરવું.
The point. A. We have notes everywhere. B. Let's.
એકત્રિત કરવું.
Them into one file. The brain gym. Time for active practice. I'll give you a situation, and you guess the right Gujarati word. You start a new institution. Which Gujarati phrase fits?
સ્થાપના કરવી.
You support a claim with proof. Which phrase?
પુષ્ટિ કરવી.
You pull a conclusion from data. Which phrase?
ઉત્પન્ન કરવું.
You place a statement in its bigger background. Which phrase?
સંદર્ભિત કરવું.
You tell two similar things apart. Which phrase?
ફરક પાડવો.
You show subtle shades in meaning. Which phrase?
સૂક્ષ્મ ભેદ દર્શાવવો.
You make something clearer. Which phrase?
સ્પષ્ટ કરવું.
You gather separate things into one stronger whole. Which phrase?
એકત્રિત કરવું.
How the words work together. Now let's connect the meanings, because advanced vocabulary becomes easier when the words become neighbors instead of strangers. Imagine you are writing an academic essay. First, maybe you.
સ્થાપના કરવી.
A new idea, like founding a fresh argument. Then you.
પુષ્ટિ કરવી.
It with evidence. You.
ઉત્પન્ન કરવું.
Conclusions from data. You.
સંદર્ભિત કરવું.
The quote or event, so people understand the background. You.
ફરક પાડવો.
Between fact and opinion. You.
સૂક્ષ્મ ભેદ દર્શાવવો.
Your argument, so it is not flat and clumsy like a pancake with no syrup. You.
સ્પષ્ટ કરવું.
The tricky parts. And in the end, you.
એકત્રિત કરવું.
Your notes, evidence, and ideas into one strong final piece. Congratulations, you now sound alarmingly intelligent. Funny memory hooks. Here comes the memory section, where logic shakes hands with nonsense. Weird images stick, so let's use them shamelessly. 4.
સ્થાપના કરવી.
Picture a squirrel founding Nut University with a golden acorn as the first stone. 4.
પુષ્ટિ કરવી.
Imagine a judge stamping a peanut butter document that says, "Proof accepted." 4.
ઉત્પન્ન કરવું.
Picture a detective deriving the truth from sandwich crumbs. 4.
સંદર્ભિત કરવું.
Imagine one lonely quote crying until a whole timeline hugs it. 4.
ફરક પાડવો.
Imagine trying to differentiate milk from white paint. Please do not taste test this in real life. 4.
સૂક્ષ્મ ભેદ દર્શાવવો.
Imagine a robot learning poetry and whispering, "Ah, subtlety." 4.
સ્પષ્ટ કરવું.
Imagine a foggy mirror becoming crystal clear after one dramatic wipe. 4.
એકત્રિત કરવું.
Imagine rebellious papers finally marching into one folder like tiny disciplined soldiers. Final challenge. You're ready for a last round. Listen to the English clue and say the Gujarati phrase before I do. To found.
સ્થાપના કરવી.
To substantiate.
પુષ્ટિ કરવી.
Derive.
ઉત્પન્ન કરવું.
Contextualize.
સંદર્ભિત કરવું.
Differentiate.
ફરક પાડવો.
To nuance.
સૂક્ષ્મ ભેદ દર્શાવવો.
Clarify.
સ્પષ્ટ કરવું.
Consolidate.
એકત્રિત કરવું.
Friendly goodbye. You did it, and your vocabulary is now wearing glasses and looking very scholarly. More importantly, you practiced real useful words. Thank you for learning with me today. You practiced.
સ્થાપના કરવી. પુષ્ટિ કરવી. ઉત્પન્ન કરવું. સંદર્ભિત કરવું. ફરક પાડવો. સૂક્ષ્મ ભેદ દર્શાવવો. સ્પષ્ટ કરવું.
And.
એકત્રિત કરવું.
Repeat them tomorrow, use them in one sentence each, and don't worry if they still feel big. Big words become friendly after enough visits. Thanks for listening, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next chapter.